Hi, a film that I watched recently that I've been interested in seeing and never really got round to it is The Two Jakes. It's the 1990 sequel to Roman Polanski's classic modern noir Chinatown from 1974. But this film is no longer directed by Polanski. It's now directed by its star, Jack Nicholson, who reprises his role as private investigator J.J. Gittes. The film is also written like the first by Robert Towne, and it's another story of uh, how Los Angeles came to be built, the resources that the city needs, and how unscrupulous people manipulate them. In the original film, it was the water supply. And in this film, it's set after the war with Gitti's older, a little wiser, a little thicker around the waist, and now running a successful agency. He is enlisted by a local businessman, also named Jake, coincidentally, to investigate his suspicions that his wife is cheating on him. And it turns out that she is, and in fact, the other man is the other Jake's business partner. But when they try and mount a sting operation, um, our other Jake bursts into the room and shoots the lover dead. But where did the gun come from? And so as the story develops, Jake Gittes has to investigate whether or not it was a crime of passion that happened purely in the moment, or if it was a planned hit, and thus would make Jake Gittes culpable for being an accessory to murder. And as the story expands, we find people with multiple identities, people with terminal illnesses, um, a land grab, oil barons, and sundry other complex classic noir types. The problem with the film is that it's simply not engaging. When it came out, it was had been the subject of a long development process, difficult to get everyone together at the same time. Eventually, Nicholson, who previously directed two films, and I've seen one of them, Going South, a tongue-in-cheek western. It's actually very good. Nicholson just decided that he would do it himself, and when it was eventually released, the film bombed and invited very scathing comparisons to Chinatown. But like Chinatown, I find it very hard to empathize with this film. It's all plot, it's all complexity, it's all a detective story, a puzzle box. There's no emotional engagement to it at all. It reminds me of Tenet in a way that you're presented with a mystery that you have to unravel and move the pieces around to solve the riddle of what happened. And that once you've completed it, that is its own reward. There's no emotional engagement, there's no emotional resolution to the story. Gittes is quite a boring, unengaging character, I find, despite Nicholson's charisma. Although he turns it down slightly because he doesn't want to overwhelm the rest of the movie. There are some interesting elements about the way Los Angeles developed in the 30s and 40s up to the present day. And there are good performances all around. Nicholson, as I say, is more restrained and playing a little older than he normally does. Um, Harvey Keitel as the other Jake, I thought was also a very fine performance. Again, more restrained, more thoughtful. Meg Tilly is very fine in a supporting role, and there are numerous other uh, minor players who are impressive. And the production design as a whole is good. The direction is not bad at any point. There are a few moments of flourishing where Nicholson is trying to do something a bit flashier and show off. But in context, it works fine. It's just, it goes back to the script and it goes back to the genre. I don't care about anything that's happening in this movie. I don't care if there's a huge land grab. I don't care if there's characters with multiple identities and that then there's one sting operation on top of another. I don't know why any of this matters. And if I don't really care what's happening to any of the characters, I'm not going to care about the film. To be honest, I'm not surprised this film was a failure. I'm just surprised that Chinatown, which is basically very, very similar, is still regarded as a classic, when really, I couldn't care less what happened in it.